Happy Wednesday, everyone. Happy hump day. Feliz miércoles. Feliz quarta-feira. All right, today was bench day. Dia de supino. Just want to talk to you real quick about a few things. First and foremost, last night hit myself with a Theragun. At first I thought those things were kind of, quackery or something. They didn't do anything. They do help. I'm not going to make any claims towards the mechanism, but they allow me to get a little bit more loose. Then I can restore some ROM and getting those shoulders nice and loose right before bedtime, helps for the next day. And more importantly, it helps me sleep better at night, which is important in terms of fatigue management. Because stress in something like the shoulders will tend to cascade. It kind of builds. And by knocking that out, it just helps me overall feel better. All right, second thing, during warm-ups on the first set at 95 pounds for bench press, things felt heavier than I thought they should have. So then paying attention to what I'm doing, I'm like, well, I'm being kind of sloppy here, tighten up my form a little bit, and things got a little bit lighter feeling. So on the second set, because I always do 2 sets at 95, second set was diligent about setting up, getting it, grip, all that kind of stuff, focusing on the setup and focusing on the execution of the lift, and boom, everything's light. So why? Because focusing on form gives me better mechanical advantage, better efficiency. More efficiency is implying that there's more muscle mass at play. All those things add up to basically focusing on your form means you're going to have better gains. That's it. It's that simple. So that's why, in my opinion, form is most important. Good form is going to be better gains. It's that simple. Last thing, I could talk about this for a much longer period of time. I'm going to try and keep it short. The idea of bro science versus real science. So this week is a light week. Who programs in a light week? Wendler does. And Wendler's 531, his basic program, every 4th week is a light week. He gives rational explanation as to why he has that in his programming. I'm not going to dive into that. But his programming is based on experience, based on empiricism. He was out there, he was training himself and training others, and he came up with this idea of, dropping that 1 week and then ramping up again. And it's very effective across a lot of people. A lot of people have run 531 and done so successfully. But is there a ton of science behind 531? When he wrote it, almost 20 years ago, no. So what I'm trying to say is that this idea of bro science, which a lot of bro science is really rooted in empiricism, you can't just dismiss it because there's not a scientific article that pairs with it. And the reason why I bring that up is because there's still a lot of things out there that are gym lore, the bro science, that are still quite effective that the academic community hasn't proven effective yet. They might not ever really get to that. Academic studies are short in nature because of the semester schedule. So ascertaining some of these bro science findings is quite difficult if you're not in there for years paying attention to what's going on. All this to say, when you hear something is bro science, don't necessarily dismiss it. In fact, if it seems like a reasonable idea, and it's coming from a reasonable source, maybe try it out. Maybe see how it works for you. There's things that are worth probably implementing that are bro science. They don't have a ton of evidence behind them in terms of scientific research studies, and that's okay. We're all individuals. Even if we did have an optimal way to program or how to train or whatever it may be, that's going to be for the mean of the population. And anytime there's a mean, there's a second parameter, the standard deviation. And that standard deviation can be very wide. Point being, we don't necessarily know what's going to work for the general population based on what's out there in the research. What's the best rep range for hypertrophy? What do people say? 8 to 12. What's the best rep range for building strength? 4 to 8. I mean, there's error bars already. How much do I accumulate? How many sets of those things do I do? Well, 3, 5, 10. It depends. Depends on who you are, what your nutrition is, what your sleep is, yada, yada, yada. It depends on your genetics, your recovery abilities, how old you are, what shape you're in, your tissue, there's way too many variables to come up with an optimal program. And so the research is doing a good job of finding out what is effective in a general sense. But it doesn't necessarily dismiss any particular aspect of training that might still be relegated to the realm of broscience. So don't dismiss things just based on the fact that there's not a ton of scientific evidence behind it yet. I would say try it. Consider what it's doing. So you got to run it long enough to figure out if it's effective. And if you find out right away, oh, this is way too much fatigue, or this hurts a ton, or whatever, well, honestly, you need to quit that right away. But if you're just trying to, if you don't have any bad effects, then run things and see if it works, see if it improves things. And usually we can find that out pretty quick. A few weeks will normally kind of give you an indicator as to whether or not this is something effective or not. Anyhow, long story short, be open-minded when it comes to training. Again, there are still things that live in the realm of broscience that are quite effective. They just haven't been proven yet. They've kind of been proven in the gym. We just don't have a scientific research study behind them. But be open-minded, potentially integrate them, and hopefully they'll work for you. All right, so again, hope everyone had a great Wednesday. Got questions, comments, like, subscribe, all the other YouTube jibber jabber. Peace.